Okay.
You good?
We had a power outage in the building and there was no action from executive session. I'll make a motion. We go into executive session for 10 minutes for job description with Jesse, our attorney, and the two commissioners. And Rose.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We'll return at 10:30. Was no action. We'll open it up for public comment. If anyone has a comment, please step to the podium and state your name.
Cassidy Ware, Mountain City. I've lived in Linn County for just shy of 35 years. My sister's mother followed shortly afterwards, and I previously worked in our local district for more than 20 of those years. I've raised my children here, contributed to the community in countless ways, and believe that joining county government would be another way to be a meaningful difference. From my first day on the job, November 12th, 2024, I made it clear I would not be a monkey to your circus. Unfortunately, 9 months in, that's exactly what this has become. I entered this role with no formal training or clear direction, but gave it everything I had. Long hours, complex problem solving, and building connections to serve Linn County with integrity. What I encountered in return was not that, but dysfunction. The most damaging issue has been the consistent absence of professionalism, clear expectations, and basic respect from elected leadership. Leadership's not about control, intimidation, or micromanagement. It's about trust, humility, and accountability. Those values have been absent here. Allie, I've raised concerns with you directly, only to be met with denial, misrepresentation, and dismissive behavior. You've assigned tasks outside of my role, treated me more like a personal assistant than a department head, and even resorted to slamming your hand on my desk with the words, "If you don't do it, then who will?" That's not leadership, Allie. That's bullying.
Do that.
You did.
No, I didn't.
A few weeks ago, I invited Ms. Hamilton into my office to discuss expectations regarding the historical societies she inquired about in an email. I have made multiple efforts to clarify my responsibilities, not just in this role, but as my capacity as the department head for the parks and the marina. Time and again, I was told, we don't have any expectations. You get to build that. What initially felt like empowerment has revealed itself to be a convenient deflection. And without defined expectations, I was set up to fail. Instead of discussing those expectations, Ms. Hamilton diverted to unrelated matters, raised her voice, and made unprofessional comments, including, "You can be rude and still be liked. I'm rude and I'm hated." She spoke despairingly about colleagues within earshot of others, made unfound claims, and caused 2 individuals to not be able to come into the annex building and conduct business, and berated me for over an hour. Another employee eventually entered, visibly upset, stating she was tired of hearing it. Rather than acknowledge the harm, Ms. Hamilton responded by raising her arm, saying, "I'm not sure how I'm going to fix that," referring to the staff's reactions. These incidents were not isolated. They reflect a pattern of disrespect, dysfunction, and failure to uphold even when the most basic standards of workplace conduct. The final straw came with the recent disciplinary action against me. It was baseless, unsupported by county policy, and made clear that no matter my effort, I would never succeed under county or constantly shifting expectations or lack of those expectations. I recently filed a grievance, which I believe was mishandled behind closed doors rather than addressed transparently as required. And if true, that's not only inappropriate, but a breach of trust with employees who depend on fair processes. Additionally, the grievance format itself should be redesigned. No employee who files a grievance should be required to provide the solution to a problem they did not cause. Jim, I just want to say thank you for thinking of me for this role. We didn't always see eye to eye, but you remained professional, and I appreciate the trust that you had in me. And even though Jason isn't here, I want to say to him, I'm not certain where we stand, but that's okay. I appreciated his honesty and his guidance that he displayed to me at the beginning. Allie, my advice is to step back from micromanaging, set aside intimidation, and lean into leading with humility. Please remember, being a commissioner is about a service, not a status. A title doesn't make anyone more important than the next person. I have just a small little poem here from the Wall Street Journal, dated in 1984, and it says this: "People don't want to be managed, they want to be led." Whoever heard of a world manager? World leader? Yes. Educational leader, political leader, religious leader, scout leader, community leader, labor leader, business leader. They lead. They don't manage. The carrot always wins over the stick. Ask your horse. You can lead your horse to water, but you can't manage him to drink. If you want to manage somebody, manage yourself. Do that well, and you'll be ready to stop managing and start leading. Last thing I have to say is to those who did support me, thank you. I leave proud of what I've accomplished under difficult circumstances, and I hope this letter prompts reflection and ultimately change. And with that said, this letter serves as my formal notice as a letter of resignation as your Economic Development Director of Linn County, effective immediately.
If it's effective immediately, then HR needs to go over.
Anyone else?
You're following her out, right? I would just go ahead and do it because she can't be in there alone.
My name's Jackie Taylor, Linn County News. This was I kind of believe that there needed to be a response, or not a response, but kind of a clarification of why we printed the 4-page 33.5 edition Wednesday that went into the paper. Because first off, we do not pick and choose what public notices go into the paper. All public notices go into the paper. What happened here is what you've got in front of you is a chronology of emails from our county clerk through the point. There's about an 8 to 9 day period in there. And there was a failure to communicate in some of this stuff. So Danielle and I have visited, we have talked, but what happened in this thing is that we have probably 30 some budgets that come in over this time period, including Linn County. All right, so all of our budgets, as you can see, I pulled 2024, and I'm just going to show you what we have here. They all have budget notices that look like this, including Linn County last year. That was this one. Okay, so this year we have had people coming in, and I have, believe me, a lot of grace for a new person. I understand she's being fed stuff by fire hose. I get it. But I will not, I'm hearing accusations that we chose not to print the Linn County budget. Yes, thank you. That is not the case. Okay, so if you look at this budget hearing, we started, like I said, getting things August 4th. Including the Linn County revenue neutral form. So what we received from you, if you want to look on page 1 of 54, you'll see that we received this notice of revenue neutral rate intent. And it states, governing body of Linn County hereby notifies the Pratt County Clerk of intent to exceed the revenue neutral rate. All right, so our job, we really try to do things right, guys. We prove, we reprove, and you can see by that, there's a form in here that is, it's got a checklist of all of the entities that we get budgets from. And I had no problem. County clerks calling us, which ones do you have? Which ones don't you have? Communicating back and forth. We emailed several times, what about Linn County? Linn County, and it was never responded to in an 8 or 9 day period. And I don't know if she thought that she sent it and we didn't have it, but this is what we received. And it's not what we were used to running. And like I said, we don't pick and choose what we put in. So come Wednesday, August 14, I get a call from the county clerk, hey, where's our budget? How come we don't have our revenue neutral notice in? my crap, so we're looking through the paper, and you can see in the paper that we did not print it. So I call my attorney. It's like, what are we going to do? Call my attorney. We have two choices. First, we can put that budget notice in a paper that has widespread circulation in this county, meaning the Kansas City Star. Our circulation beats the Kansas City Star. Second option was we create edition number whatever next in line, and we print a special edition and insert it and get that thing in the mail so that it can be out by August 15th so that the county can hold your public hearing August 25th. That's what we chose to do. So we created that little 4-page insert. I sent it up to, the girls created that thing, sent it up to the printer. Thank goodness that they had time to do it. The public notice of revenue, notice of intent to exceed, whatever. But prior to that, when we were looking at it, we also, Daniel sent us the corrected copy of this thing that says Linn County rather than Pratt County. So the corrected copy stating that they report back to Linn County went into this little insert. I was up in Weston, Missouri, picking up this special edition Wednesday afternoon at 3 o'clock, and I get an email from Daniel, hey, if you can get it, here's the budget notice also if it's in time. We've already gone to press. We're fussed, so maybe we need to discuss deadlines on top of this thing. And so this thing cost me probably $750 by the time we're done with printing it, inserting it, mailing it, my time running around. I had to go through every box in this county and insert these things into the real paper, because the problem would have been somebody gets this 4-page thing, and I had it come in my office. They're like, what the heck is this thing? Why are we doing this? So I inserted it into the actual newspaper itself so that everybody is legal and good to go. So my gist here is I do not want anybody thinking that we do not take this stuff seriously, because we do. It is our job as official paper to make sure the public has this stuff and that it's done correctly. We have a checklist that we go through. We don't just blow steam for the heck of it. We send emails so that people can follow the evidence stream and help us out. Hey, we need this. Okay, great, whatever. So that is the gist of this meeting today. And I'm sure Danielle, next year, and like I said, you were fed information by fire hose, and I get it. But I don't know where this came from, that we did this on purpose. It was not done on purpose. I guarantee you. We do not do that. I've had 2 incidents in 31 years like this. One in 1994, where we had to send a public notice to another paper to get it inserted because our paper, we just couldn't do it. And this one, we do not do that kind of thing. So, you have any questions for me or anything?
I never heard that, so
Okay.
I never.
All right. Well, thank you.
I really didn't, and I knew that there was an issue. Daniel reached out to all of us, and I think we immediately, whatever, to make it right. I didn't blame anyone necessarily. I think we were just trying to figure out how to make it right.
You bet. And that's what we did. We ended up communicating, and I think we've got some systems in place that we need to educate you further on. And it worked. You guys are legal for what you're doing now. I mean,
Good with
still,
everything, right?
you're
Legally,
good
we're
with
good.
everything.
Do you have any issues with the 750 that do you want to talk about that at a different time?
It's whatever. I put it as my cost of doing business as your official paper. Obviously, if you want to help me, that'd be awesome. But that is not why I came in here. Because I want it done right. And it's right now. And people were going, what the heck? But
I knew it was confusing, but I don't think any of us were blaming. I know I wasn't. I was didn't really understand the process either. So
Okay.
just trying to make it right. And,
Yeah.
we were going through all the different, if we sent out another mailer, just lots of different things.
Well, and that's
How much that was going to cost us. It was going to cost us 17,000 if we had
Yes.
to do that again. There were just a lot
Yes.
of things we were talking about, and it was never, for me, it was never blaming anyone. We were just trying to figure out what should we do?
Right.
What's the best situation for everyone? How much is this going to cost? I even asked, how much is this going to cost Jackie if she has to reprint it?
Right.
There were a lot of questions
Yeah.
I was asking. I never communicated directly with you just
Right.
because we were kind of talking about that, but
Yeah.
we were just throwing out all the different
Just by the
concerns.
grace of God, we figured we got this thing in by a squeak. My press was able to do it. We were able to get things to the post office and get it done. And it was just, it all worked really well. It just, and it was just, I've got a great crew and it just all came together. So we just, we want to try to avoid this next year. So.
Absolutely. I appreciate everything you guys did. I didn't have any complaints about it, honestly. I just was trying to get it figured out.
Right.
Having Danielle work on that.
Yeah.
So, we can discuss the fees that it cost you.
It's like I said, that's the least of my objective here. So, but I thank you. So.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in and explaining that. I wasn't expecting that, but I appreciate it.
Yeah. You bet. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry for the confusion.
It's all.
It is.
It'll get better.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.
Good morning.
Hello, Renee Slinkard, Parker, Kansas, and I am with the Devlin Road Chip and Seal Group. And I am here to announce that we do have another fall 2025 cost share program from KDOT. And they are willing to, if we are approved and everything goes well, they cover about $1 million of construction reimbursement. It is a reimbursement grant. It opens up August 11th, but it closes about September 17th. So almost less than a month. So in order for us to get going on this application, I did talk, I don't know if anyone has talked to Miami County Road Group, but I think last year this was all talk. I guess they talked with them. Miami County kind of came in late, so we never got the application done. So I think this year we're supposed to get with Miami County and see if they would do their 2 miles of chip and seal. I think it's about 2 miles and we'll do our 3.5 mile, 3 to 3.5 mile chip and seal. And so this is kind of where we're at. I'd like to go forward with the application and see if we can get something done this year on the application. Now, the work I understand will not be done this year, but to get the application in there and get it approved, I think would be a wonderful thing. That's basically it. I don't know I can fill out the application if someone would help me with it. I'm not real good on grants, but I'd be willing to fill out the application. I've already talked to George Pretz several times, and he is to get with the commissioners in Miami County and talk with them. I am going to be going to Miami County this month, and so I can mention something in the public comment there, and mention something about it. But I really need all of you to approve it and to go forward with it and get our public works. Oh, and I did call our public works, Jesse Walton, last week and told him that there is paperwork on it and to please look up the files and look at the paperwork and go forward with that. But I haven't heard anything from Jesse. I don't know if you have talked with him.
I have.
But anyway, that's kind of all I have to say is, if we can get this application going before it closes.
I spoke with Jesse about it, and I'll just make a quick comment. I agree that we need to move forward with any sort of cost share programs, but we do have on the agenda today to discuss the road study, and that's going to have a county plan for the roads throughout the county, so not just your road. Putting some
That would be
certain
great.
roads
They
at
could-
high risk, low risk, moderate risk. These need to be chip and sealed, things like that. So putting more of a priority task together to where we can not just show you, but everyone, the entire community, hey, this is what our plans are from this year 1 to year 5 and which roads we're going to focus on. Your road may not come in there, but we're going to take all of your concerns, all of the work orders that they've received
Well-
over the years since 2020, that haven't
yeah.
necessarily been addressed. They're all going to be taken into
That
consideration.
would be great. And remember, I did have a petition, so I've
Yes.
got many, many people. Every door that I went to have people sign that petition did, except one person. And it wasn't because of the road. He just didn't want his name on a petition. So we have a police officer on that road. Remember, this is an outlet because of the trains in Northwest Linn County. Are longer, they take longer, they put more engines on the trains, so that's an issue. We have school buses that would love to have that road open. And remember, the EMTs, I think it's the is that what you call them, EMT, emergency? They said, yes, we were for it. So we have people in Northwest Linn County that would really benefit from this outlet. So I just want you to all keep that in mind. And I'm sorry that Jesse is not here, that he could hear this.
He's right
But-
there. He's there. He's here. He's heard everything.
I mean, not Jesse,
Jason.
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 Oh, Jason. I was like,
I
oh,
knew Jesse was
Jesse's
here. I'm
here.
sorry. Jason, hi.
Okay.
I wished he was here so he could hear also, but I appreciate.
Well, that was a concern Jason had, was we're not going to address your road until we have addressed every road in the county and put together a plan on what we want to take care of and what's high priority, high risk. So that's what we're going to be working on today and in the future.
Okay. Well, I hope something can be done this year. Thank you so much.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you.
Do I need to sign here? I didn't-
Yes, please.
I'm sorry, my name was not on the agenda, but it should have been. I had a 10:15 agenda. And then I have another 11:15.
11:15.
That's correct. Renee emailed
Anyone
me
else?
and asked me to put her on the agenda, and I did forget that.
That's okay.
But I do have a resolution to present on her behalf.
11:15.
Good morning. First of all, thank you for your time and also for your service, because I know you guys aren't in this for the money. But speaking of money, I do have some questions on the personal property tax.
State your name.
I'm Michael Murray, and I live
Okay.
in Sugar Valley. So I want to make sure before I ask too many dumb questions, just kind of a little bit of the policy questions. And the commission is in charge of the policy for the county. Is that correct?
For policies for, In general,
In
yes.
general,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah. And another one of your job descriptions would be you create budgets and finance,
Correct.
and then you maintain the county property. And then,
If you jump back up to number 2, though, I mean, that's all, there's a Kansas statute that I can reference and get that to you.
okay. And then you maintain the county property, right? Since I worked in construction and stuff too, looks to me like you do a pretty good job of maintenance, but is there maintenance schedules that are public records? I mean, I just see so many shortcuts in maintenance that costs communities and counties money by just not following simple procedures. I think if I'm correct, right, you're a farmer, right? So when I grew up, we never started a tractor to inject the oil every day. Now, granted, motors were a lot worse then, but those things as being in construction and farming just always concerned me. And another thing, you represent Linn County taxpayers according to their concerns and needs, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so I think a lot of people are really concerned the past few years about the just increase in property taxes and where it's going. One time I thought property taxes were maybe going to the schools, but I guess that doesn't really go that way. So that's a concern to me, that my property tax increases. I'd like to see them going to schools. I'd like to see it more to health, especially community service and needy people. I don't know where that's going. if my property taxes are going to go up, which they are quite a bit, I'm hoping that you're going to pass along some of the increase that I have to pay to the county workers by giving them more money. I mean, I look at taxes should be an opportunity. It should be a way for the community to grow. So we kind of wonder where that money's going and stuff like that. And again, you provide public support for the betterment of the community, correct?
Correct.
Correct, okay. And you provide a strategic planning outline. And those plans would include future investment in Linn County to make our county grow and make it be more successful.
I think we can work on that.
Yeah, and all those things are implemented so policies can run effectively and smoothly, correctly. And as a citizen and a taxpayer, we love the services that the government, the cities, the county give to us. One of the hard parts is paying the bills. And our bills coming due in form of higher property taxes and stuff. And if I understand Kansas law right, you do have the right. The appraiser says, okay, here's what it is. You do have the right to vote it down, right?
So
I don't think so.
The appraiser formula is actually given to them by the state. And so that formula is applied across the state. The software program that is used by every appraiser within the municipalities of the state of Kansas uses the formula that is given to them through the software program that's generated by the state.
That's why I just want to ask a question because I could be wrong, but I looked through the state and pretty much the answer that I got was, yes, you can say no to Topeka because you guys are Linn County. Now, whether or not you'll do that, I'm not sure. But
so that will come after the hearing.
Okay.
We'll hear public comment, and
So
then after that.
I'm just a little bit concerned about the county appraiser is supposed to determine a fair market value. And
So again, that comes from the formula that's given by the states. And if the appraiser's office is out of compliance with the directive that came from the state could terminate the relationship with the state of the county appraiser and not be an official state of Kansas appraiser for Linn County. And so she's obliged to follow that formula that's generated from the state.
And I know the appraiser's office is probably understaffed and under budget, but one of the concerns I have, and I'm not griping about this and thinking I got an unfair treatment, but it's being a concrete contractor. When we put on our water line, I got a couple of structural cracks in my basement. And luckily, I can fix those myself. I don't have to spend $10,000 or $12,000 to do it because I can use polyurethane and my company that I used to have and correct those. But I'm not sure that anything like that, and I want to put a new roof on, so I'm not sure those things are taken into consideration in a fair way because the appraiser is supposed to assist the taxpayers, is my understanding. I'm just about out of time, so the one thing I did is I hope they look at things a little bit different. Like I live in Sugar Valley, and we've worked really hard the last 3.5 years to upgrade our place and get it and create a good curb appeal and stuff too. So that probably costs more money, but we're still dealing with a holding tank. So we're dealing with, that's kind of a detriment to property, really. I don't know how my property values could go up, continue to go up when I'm basically got a holding tank is a sanitation problem. And I don't expect you to be putting in septic tanks and stuff like that. But I do appreciate you taking the time to let me speak and hopefully address some of the concerns. And I hope we can maybe really, I want to look at taxes as an opportunity. I just want to make sure we're really using them to benefit the community and everything like that. So thank you again for your time. I really
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
morning.
Morning. My name is Sky Ferris. I'm here today to express my disappointment in the vote to approve the amendment to Article 16 of the zoning regulations. I truly believe that no matter the height of a tower, nearby Linn County residents deserve to be notified through the conditional use permit process to make them aware of towers being built near them, especially since EMF radiation put off by these towers affects the health and well-being of our communities. Research has shown that towers can pose potential risks to health and the environment, especially when placed near homes and schools. This amendment strips citizens of the right to be informed and involved in decisions that affect their families and their neighborhoods. I also want to express my concern that Jason was the one to make the motion to approve this amendment. I understand that legal counsel cleared him of any conflict of interest, but the fact remains that he serves on the board of People's Telecommunication, the very company whose tower sparked this entire debate. That alone should have been reason enough to let someone else take the lead. Still, I suppose I can't blame him too much. If Jennifer from People stops him after board meetings the way that she has stopped me after these meetings, I can understand the pressure. I've had her tell me, not in so many words, that I have no right to speak out because I own a microwave or a cell phone, or that because I don't know the specific difference between 3G and 5G, I shouldn't be questioning these towers. That kind of dismissive attitude doesn't help anyone, least of all the citizens trying to participate in the process. In the end, my concern didn't end up just being about one tower. It's about the way decisions are being made without regard to the potential consequences for our health and environment. We deserve a say, or at the very least, a heads up when something that affects our health, our homes, and our future is on the table. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Kevin Amer, Mound City. I just want to reflect on employees. I think that's, and I don't want to point fingers and I don't want to get into it. I mean, we'll just lost another good one. We're losing another one coming up. I don't know what you guys can do for employee relations, but I would definitely do all I could at this point. And I'm not saying I told you so. I'm just saying I'm pointing my finger at nobody. But we're just losing a lot of good people, and it just, we try to hire the best people we can for the jobs, right? Correct? And yet we don't try to hold on to them and work stuff out, so, you know, or even show like a employee appreciation. I mean, I brought this up at the first of the year. It's been months later. We haven't had the training yet that we all could use. I mean, there again, I'm not pointing any fingers. Have we done anything for appreciation to the employees yet? You know, like we already knew we had a problem with morale. Are we working on that? I mean, is that like top priority? Is that just something we're just going to keep kicking down the road? And I shouldn't be so emotional about it, but I've worked with these people. I was one of these people. I love y'all. It's a hard job, and I know it is. And frustrations get involved, and man, they can just run everything. But if we try to hire the best people we can, and we're sure we've done that, we got to work harder on keeping them. See you guys.
Thank you.
Anyone else? We'll close public comment then.
I have a couple of statements on the 66-2019 parentheses F. Going back to the tower situation, did we continue to look for any case studies that the state has had those filed and won within the county on a tower? Just wondering. I know we had paused. Found none. Okay. And the only way, just so you know, Sky, that would be able to be represented would, commissioner would have to make a motion to reconsider, correct? The amendment?
Yeah, it's a reasonable time.
And they still have the opportunity to present within 14 days the petition that they disagree with the commission's vote. Correct? On the protest petition. You can file a protest petition within 14 days on any decision made by the commission, correct? Those are other options for community, the citizens in the community.
I don't have that statute memorized.
I've just been brought a lot of questions on that, so I just want to make sure I'm correct in saying that. If the commission votes on an amendment or a planning and zoning regulation, other than the rock query, because the rock query stated clearly you cannot do a protest petition in the state of Kansas, correct? Which was very unusual. Didn't know that was correct. Danielle does not provide the protest petition, but within the protest petition, they were informed that they had to have the county attorney approve the protest petition. With that being said, Justin Meeks thought it was a conflict of interest to sign off on that. So if the statute requires the protest petition to be signed by the county attorney and he's saying no because it's a conflict of interest, now what does a citizen do?
To clarify, I believe Justin said he wouldn't write the petition because that would be the conflict for him to write it and approve it. If I understand the situation correctly.
Okay.
I apologize.
I just think that we need to clear some things up and also make it available for all citizens to know that if the commission votes on anything, amendment or regulation, there are still options for citizens that don't agree with how we voted. And I believe that you had 14 days to present that back to the commission, that you are going to file the protest petition. But I want to get you guys clarification on that, because I know for me, we never had that when we were filing our protest petition. We never had direction. We never had clear legal communication on what we were supposed to be doing. And then we filed it too late and it didn't go through. And there are a lot of hoops.
I knew that if I could speak to it 5 days, I would only have Saturday and Sunday to get signatures, and I didn't have time to get so many signatures from registered Linn County voters, because a lot of people aren't registered Linn County voters.
Right. I do believe you have to have 10% registered voters within the county. Also, I think you have 14 days, not 5, but I think you.
Just for the county attorney to approve it and then get it back to you, and then you start the signatures.
Oh, okay. And see, I thought that was 14. So let me clarify that. Because it needs to be clear for the entire county that if the commission makes a decision and we don't like it, here are the next steps you can take.
So it is that we had a petition wrote a protest petition.
Mhm.
Submitted it to the county attorney to deny it or say they have a problem with it, and then you start getting the signatures after you get back from them.
Because within the protest petition, it has to have, does it have to have legal standing?
I don't know the answer to that.
Okay, point of order. I mean, the commission is not in a position to give legal advice to the citizens of Linn County. They would have to seek their own attorney, because it would
Correct.
be a conflict of interest for the county to be advising them, but also as non-attorneys, the commissioners are not in a position to offer legal advice. Advising citizens that there are legal remedies available in general
Yes.
is kind to do. But you essentially can't sit on both sides of the table on the same argument. So just,
Okay, but if it's an opportunity for the citizens to do a protest petition and you have to legally get your county attorney to sign off on something and we are not giving them clear rules, you're saying no, don't help them?
The county commission is not in a position to give legal advice to the citizens for how to protest against decisions of the commission. That is a conflict of interest. And also, as non-legal advisors, you cannot advise the citizens as to their legal rights and remedies.
I just think that's interesting. Clear steps, correct. The form comes from the county. Mhm. So the form is it online? No,
I don't believe so.
but you have to come to the county clerk's office to get it. Or call in, correct? Is that right?
Protest petition can come from the county, but that's not the same thing as the county commissioners giving legal advice to its citizens on how to essentially protest the decision
How to do a
of
protest
county.
petition?
Yeah.
That you have to have.
Protest
So
petition.
any information, so would you say the same thing to a county clerk? Because when I was doing it, you know, all these things, it mattered. It mattered. The county clerk had to communicate with me exactly how many signatures I need. They had to be registered voters. They had to have 10% within your district if that's what you were going for. I mean, there were things that were communicated as a citizen prior to me becoming a commissioner that had to be communicated with me in order to know what to do. But you're saying you would give the same information in consideration to the clerk. Is that right? That she should not be communicating at all?
I didn't say not communicating at all. I said the county commissioners cannot give legal advice to citizens. The county clerk can also not give legal advice to citizens. The protest petition itself has an attachment that outlines what the requirements are of that protest petition that is generated by the state of Kansas, that's available to municipalities to give to citizenry of cities or other municipalities,
But we
library
don't.
districts, etc.
We didn't come here for legal advice, we just came here for this.
Point of order, point of order, point of order. This is not public comment. The public comment is closed. And so this continues to be a one-way conversation from the commissioners to the citizens at this point. And so the bottom line is that the county employees are not in any sort of position to give legal advice to the citizens. Protest
It's not
petitions.
legal advice. It's procedure.
Protest petitions
procedure.
have the procedure outlined in them, and those are
Well,
available.
we all
at
have
the
questions,
clerks.
including myself, so it's clearly not outlined. That's the problem I have.
The Attorney General's office handles those when the county council or the county attorneys do not.
So we need to move on. We
We have an 11 o'clock.
One more.
have Evergy at 11. Are they here?
No, they're on a phone call.
Oh, on phone call. So we need, how long is it gonna take?
It's not going to take long. This is supposed to be a celebration right here.
Well, we're going to take Evergy first.
No, just a minute, I'm running the meeting.
I'm on the agenda.
Oh.
I'm actually supposed to.
I should
be
have
on-
added Renee Slinker to the agenda. She sent me an email way in advance. I prepared a resolution for Constitution Week proclamation. It's you guys reading it, approving it, and signing it to
Okay, let's go
support
ahead with that.
Constitution
We'll
Week.
take care of that, and then I'll make.
Okay, it's a celebration. We are celebrating 238th anniversary of our Constitution of the United States. It was adopted September 17th, 1787. And it is, I guess, going forward, many years later, in 1955, it was signed into law to be commemorated annually. And the reason being is to promote awareness and the study of the Constitution. And I am here, in August, our Meritazine chapter of Daughters of American Revolution goes around to the county meetings and presents the proclamation and gets it signed by our commissioners, which I would like to do today. And I also want to say that I got a promotion. I am now state Constitution Week chair over all the chapters in the state of Kansas. So, which is a celebration too. But anyway, I will ask anyone here if they want a Constitution pamphlet, and I also have preambles to the Constitution. Well, I know you would want one. There you go. Oh,
We need to read this, I suppose.
here you go.
You don't have to read it.
Two bookmarks.
Let's make a motion.
Bookmark.
I believe that would suffice. You're welcome to read it if you'd like. It's
And
not that lengthy.
I know you have. Do you have one, Ally?
Mhm.
You've got one?
Another, yeah, I get it at the library.
There you go.
So we just made to make a motion to accept this resolution.
Yes, please.
I make a motion, we accept the resolution 2025-21 for Constitution Week proclamation.
Oh, I get my phone. Can I take a picture? Would that be okay?
That's my motion.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Yes, that would be great. Thank you. Hold on. Get that itch there. There you go. Hold on.
Do you want to stand up?
Too bad Jason isn't here.
Do you want us to stand or you got?
No, I can stand. You just sit there. Why don't you hold it
Oh,
up
wait,
like you got something there? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I think the newspaper also wants a photo.
And you keep the original. Oh,
Keep this.
yeah, well, the county will keep the original and post it in the commons area of the courthouse, and I will get a copy. And thank you so much.
Thank you.
Commissioner Johnson and Commissioner Hamilton, I'm sorry. Commissioner Hightower's not here to celebrate. Maybe next year.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So what we need, executive session with them on the telephone?
Executive session. Sorry, hold on. My mic was off. Executive session
With Evergy?
with Evergy is for contract negotiation. 10 minutes will be fine.
10 minutes. Okay. I'll make a motion, we go into executive session with the two commissioners, our council, and Evergy, attorney for contract negotiations for 10 minutes.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We'll return at 11:30. There's no action from executive session. I make a motion, we go back in executive session with Evergy, our attorney, the two commissioners, and Jesse Walton, Public Works Director, for an additional 15 minutes for contract negotiations.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We'll return at 11:46. There's no action. Okay. On the old businesses or anything you want to talk about there, since you're not all here?
What was the line item for job descriptions? What were we talking about there?
You
Was that
guys-
just the 3 that you submitted in
That's
SharePoint?
correct. I have a paper copy of them if you'd like to see them again, but you asked to review them, Jim, before.
I did. There was one thing in there on the one where they got 2 road, assistant road foremans. I don't know why we got 2 on one of them. It
Was that
says,
what it said?
I think the one on the road foremans, it says it has two assistant road foremans.
Oh, okay.
It's something I see that, I don't think we have that.
Public Works road foreman. What were you talking about?
The road foreman itself, road foreman supervise, the one I seen, I think it said 2.
Here's the paper copy, Jim.
Did the one said,
It did, we were gonna take that.
yeah, I seen it somewhere. I thought on the one I had on my computer. I don't know if it's on this one or not, but
Yeah, we were gonna take that out of there, so it was just over 1 assistant, not 2
Right.
in there.
I did want to ask Jesse on the Public Works Administrator. 3 up from the bottom, it says conduct weekly tailgate safety meetings and safety inspections of all equipment assigned to the district. Is that something that happens?
That's something that we do weekly. They turn in their weekly, safety meetings.
Okay.
So that is something that does happen.
I don't see that now, but I seen it on there. It stated 2.
It also says work closely with Planning and Zoning Director, Economic Development Committee, and advisory boards, and so on. Is an Economic Development Committee still something that's under you as Public Works Administrator? Should
It
that,
is not under me, but it is something that we do work with, throughout the county on
okay,
whatever goes on. So there's something that we have jurisdiction over, but they're developing something then, like the lakes that we were discussing with Kreitzer Lake. We maintain everything out there, but we don't do all the promoting with the brochures and things of that nature. Something they put together.
I don't mind that it says that, especially since it's just the committee,
yes.
but that's just me. So will all of these have a uniform job description?
Yes, so now that Jesse has written that, we'll get it put in this exact same format as this one and the other one for the assistant. If that's,
That makes
if
sense.
that accommodates
Yes,
your
absolutely.
uniform ideas.
Just wanted to make sure.
For sure.
All right, you look them over enough that you're good with them?
Oh, that's,
Or do you want to wait a week? Or
I don't need to wait a week. I've read through them, but that doesn't always mean that I haven't
Right,
overlooked something.
it can happen in any of us, but
But I did read through them. This is the second time, and a lot of it, it's, I don't know exactly what your road foremans do, so I'm good with it, but
okay.
so let's see. Okay, so you sent me the Public Works Administrator, which is Jesse,
That is correct.
just for us to look at, right?
That's correct.
Okay, I am
I wanted you to
fine.
know what the administrator does before you could approve what the assistant to the administrator would do.
I'm just making sure we're not changing anything in his job description. I didn't.
So what we have tweaked a little bit is that we won't have a road and bridge director. That's what Jesse was
Operations director.
Correct. So we're kind of combining those two job descriptions, and that's what changed in the Public Works Administrator. Does that make sense?
Sure, you're gonna combine the two?
The assistant and the operations director, that'll be together in one job, helping me doing what I do also.
I wouldn't mind adding on the assist with preparation of bid documents, RFPs, and purchasing activities. I guess that's okay, but we were talking about adding the procurement software.
Okay.
It's basically the same thing in what you've said in that, but just using a different term, procurement.
We probably, by fairness, we ought to give Jason an opportunity to look at it too. I mean, you know, for a week.
Yeah.
You know, just to.
I don't mind, but I will just make a note that we said we were going to post this 3 weeks ago. So just saying, it's another week to wait.
We can post it. Can we go ahead and post
Yeah.
the job? And I mean, whenever we do interviews, we can lay this out then because it
For
is.
sure. I'm
Right.
good with that. I would just like to proceed with
I'd like to get
posting the
job
job.
posted too, but I mean.
Yeah,
we-
they should have been posted last week. They did not get posted, but
But so we can go ahead and post them. This can be, when the interview comes, we can lay this out.
yep. And that's what I've been asked because I've been asked by several people who have applied, what's the job description? I said, we've sent it out to the commissioners, have them look over it, make sure everybody's okay and kosher with it. When we get those, I will give them to you so you do have them, so you
Go on
know.
a draft of it.
Yep.
This isn't the finalized draft because it could have some changes.
Yep. Which I think's fair.
We could also have Jacqueline reach out to Jason to make sure he's okay with it, right?
Sure.
I mean,
She can do that.
and if he's fine with it, then we proceed.
Okay.
I'm fine with posting assistant public works and the road foreman
Yeah.
positions.
Okay.
I'm good with it. Need a motion, please?
Jack,
No.
or Daniel, I have a question. Can we make a generic 300,000, 200,000, just put a figure of a house in all three districts? Break it out in the taxing and to where we got a spreadsheet to show everybody what, as a commission, what we're actually in charge of to voting on the budget. Because we have school districts and each one of them, I've looked at 2 of them. I have not looked at yours, but I've looked at 2 appraisal sheets in Jason's and this one.
Okay.
And because of their bond issues, that changes a portion of the tax that goes to the school, right?
That's correct.
So could you use it, whether it's $200,000 house or 100 or whatever you want to do, just as far as a generic form, and then break that out and show what us as a commission, we as a commission are in charge of over the budget, and then who is in charge of the other ones? Because we have a library board that's in each library that's in charge of their budget. We have a township that's in charge of a budget that we have no control over.
That's correct.
And then what's the Southeast Kansas Library? It's pretty good. Is that a county, multiple county wide?
That's correct. It's multiple counties that are sharing a library network.
So they're their own taxing entity also.
That's correct. They're outside of our home county.
I would like to see that broke down to where everybody could, because I have multiple questions about the appraisals.
Okay.
And my idea, it can be from the 90% to 110 is what PVD recommends that we're in that range.
I'm not sure of that, but
I'm sure I'm right there.
okay.
And then people say some people's under evaluated or, under appraised or over appraised. Could we look at that if I was at the 100 percentile, what range, if it was dropped down to the 90% versus to the 110%, how much that would change their taxes?
I'm honestly not sure. That would be, I wonder if that would be a question for the appraiser. I wouldn't be able to get that information on.
I
my
guess
phone.
we
I'd
could
have
do it
to
if we
work
did
with-
it stayed on even numbers. We could always back it off the 10% under or over, and we'd give you a number then.
Sure.
Can you-
I know that I've made the request to the treasurer's office, if it's possible for them to say a home of this range of price, what is that tax liability looking like?
Just put it, if we did it at 200,000 or whatever, just to give everybody an idea what the breakdown is on taxes and what we are actually budgeting here as a commission, what we have the authority to budget.
Okay, so I believe that the budgeting authority, if you're talking about by district, is gonna be, it's gonna be encapsulated by all of the little entities, the libraries and cemeteries and school districts within your budgeting district.
But it's broke out to each one of them. The school district will be broke out.
That's correct. It is broke out, but the county is collecting all of those taxes and then making the disbursement.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is we have no control over what we're taxing them through the school district, but we are controlling the money.
That's
But-
correct.
But we're not the ones that tax them.
That's correct. Yep. The school board is requesting those funds. The citizens pay those funds through their tax payments that the county collects, and then the county distributes it to. the
But we're not responsible for that.
We're-
As a commission, we're not responsible for that taxing.
That's correct. You're not responsible for their budget authority, for their taxing authority, or for their requests for budgeting.
I would just like people to see that as far as the percentile of what the budgeting authority is that other people besides the three commissioners have.
Sure.
So when they're going there and they're having their opportunity to speak at the hearing, let's say they disagree with a mill increase at a school. So when they are voicing those concerns,
That isn't the
What-
concern here.
It's-
We shouldn't
oh.
be, it should be at their school district.
I agree with you. They're coming to us for just our specific line item. But I guess my question is, when they go to complain about the schools at a school hearing, is that their time to reconsider if they lower the mill?
That's correct.
And they can do that with the school board?
That's correct.
If they did the same thing that we did, they can do exactly. They can bring it back to revenue neutral if they choose to.
That is
Correct. Same with libraries. So if there were concerns at the library and you went and complained about it, they would have to bring those concerns back to their board and they would have to vote on
If
that
they choose to, I mean.
if they choose to. Mm-hmm.
Their board gets to choose, just like we get to choose.
Same with us.
On where we are.
Yep.
We've got the opportunity to come back revenue neutral or go to 38.1
Up to 38.1
or something.
Our publication said.
So I had asked Joni to do some, well, I think I asked you maybe a week or two ago, but she did respond to me. And what I was asking for would be a breakdown of if we increased by a mil on a house or in the house range of 150,000, how much does that actually increase for that homeowner, just with our portion?
Well, I understand it.
And-
The mill brings in 388,000, is that right?
That is the value of
That's
1 mil.
1 mil is 388,000.
And
So
so I was just trying to figure out, because people were asking me if we don't stay revenue neutral, how much is that going to increase? So I was trying to figure out that number just on our portion.
well, you can go back to, I mean, whatever our dollar figure is that, what was last year at 35.1 is what it would raise the same money. But another issue I've had brought up to me, and then I've thought about this with the power plant or the utilities appraised value went down this year to what it was last year.
I can't recall.
I think I think we went through this, but say if it was 200,000 or 200 million last year and it went to 175, the other people in the county is going to have to make that 75,000 up because we've raised the values of their properties. So even staying revenue neutral on our portion now, because everybody else isn't staying revenue neutral, your taxes could still go up on the county portion staying revenue neutral.
Right, that is correct.
Right.
Even if we stayed revenue neutral, it could mean an increase in taxes.
Because whatever our evaluations went up, total went up,
Absolutely.
and utilities went down.
Just to clarify though, we do not appraise the power plant. That's appraised by the
That's
state of Kansas.
All utilities are appraised by the state of Kansas.
So theirs went down?
I think utilities went down this year.
But
If you're
everything else
checking
is
it out, I
going up.
think it dropped a few, I mean, it dropped considerable. But if we could, to show people a visual of what we do have control over, of your spending of our tax dollars.
Sure.
And each district, like you say, will be different because of the schools. You know, Prairie View School District brings in a lot more money than like yours, and yours brings in less than ours. Okay.
So what would you like, so what are you asking her to present? Do you understand, you're clear on what?
You following what I'm asking?
So for a home of equal value in each of your districts, what does that look like for your budgeting authority in that district?
Our budgeting authority and what our percent, what it would do in each district, our portion of their whole amount of their tax.
Sure. Now, it'll be a little bit, I mean, I guess I'll have to use the biggest city in each of the districts because your district is the largest by square footage, but they're all supposed to be pretty similar in population. And that's
Population should
how-
be real close.
Yep, that's how the districts are assigned, is by population, not by square foot. But Jim's district covers more square mileage, I guess it is, of the county.
Well, next week we have our hearing, but we're also supposed to be deciding on our budget, right?
We've
On
got a
the
little
20
more time yet
we have
because
the-
after this week, we hear the hearing, and then we got a little bit of time before we can decide, or do we have to decide next week?
I thought it was next week.
Next week, you have to approve a certain, what you're staying with.
Okay.
And then I have up until the end of September, I believe, to get all of that information from all of the entities around the county to.
So we're gonna
to
make
the
a
Secretary of
decision
State.
next week.
I believe that's correct.
Okay.
So you're saying when we come in on Monday that we have to make a decision if we say we're going to be revenue neutral, we have to figure it out by what date? Or if we're going to stay 3 mils above, we have to figure it out by what date?
Yeah, we can say, I mean, that,
But whatever we say this Monday is what we have to stick with, no matter what.
I believe that's correct.
Okay. And then when was the date that we had to have it submitted?
The last hearing date that's an option is September 20th.
September 20th. But we went ahead and scheduled ours for the 25th.
That's
So
correct.
everyone will be coming in here
So
and
we'll-
giving
yep.
their opinions on,
We'll start our regular meeting at 9 a.m. We'll stop our regular meeting and have the budget hearing at 11, no matter what. And then we can open our regular meeting again if needed.
okay.
So when you adjourn your regular meeting, you will have the option to adjourn till the following Monday or to adjourn till the close of the budget meeting. So if you don't finish your agenda for the main meeting before we start, you can either say that you're going to resume after the budget hearing or that everything's
We're
continued to
gonna
the following
if we're not
Monday.
finished with our regular meeting, we can't adjourn. We'll resume after the budget hearing.
Correct. Otherwise, we won't resume after the budget hearing. We'll pick up all the things not discussed will be added to the following week's agenda.
Okay.
But you'll have that decision to make before you begin the budget hearing next week.
okay, and so how that happened last year, because I was here, when we have the hearing here and everyone is giving their opinions on revenue neutral or property taxes, increases, all these things, the commission last year stated, basically, we're done talking here. Go across the street to see Lisa. Lisa controls it all. We don't have anything to do with it. And I mean, I don't think that's the way we should approach that. We're sending a bunch of people that are already angry here over to Lisa. Should she be here? or no?
That, last year though, that was off the appraisals and she was the one that they could have, protested,
Payment under protest hearings.
payment under protest as far as their appraisal is what we said last year, if I recall. That if
Yeah, and that's really the only option.
the only
is
option
that
we have.
They can protest their appraisal. And that is based on the state formula.
Appraisal dropped or whatever, that will lower their tax. And that procedure goes for quite a while because she goes multiple months on the hearings, right?
That's correct.
Okay. Well, I mean, you touched on it a little bit earlier, but I would like to be prepared. When Mike was asking this earlier in public comment, and you touched on it, the commission does, so we're going to hear all the information, but if we do not agree, I guess, as the commission, can we not approve the proposed property evaluations? We can not approve that, correct?
So if you were to make some sort of a motion, pass some sort of resolution, even a charter resolution, the state doesn't have to honor that, and she would be disemployed essentially by the state. The state would refuse to accept her as an authorized appraiser for the state because she would be violating her agreement to go by that with the state.
But not necessarily, because she only has to be in compliance at 75%. A clear overview of Lisa and her employment with the county, even though her job description is overseen by the state of Kansas. I would like to be able to clearly identify and state that for the public as well. And that as a county, we do make that vote, or as the commission, we do make that vote to proceed with the recommendations from the appraiser's office or not.
To me, even with our appraisals, it's ultimately our responsibility to set the mill levy to where what we raise for the county. We can appraise it. I mean, we can be wrong 20%. Don't get me wrong. If it's 20% across the board on everybody, from the 90% to the 110.
Right.
And I've stated all along, I believe we ought to stay at the 90% myself. I mean, I've had PVD standing there and telling us multiple times. I said, what happens if we're not within range? He said, we'll be back to see you next year, you know, and that's what he's told me multiple times. But if it's across the board, it doesn't matter as far as the appraisal, or is that's the way I feel anyway, because then it's three people here's decision, decide how much money we need to run our portion of the county.
And also, you know, back to the compliance for the appraiser's office, that is directed by the state of Kansas. But when asked last year with the PVD director, if Linn County is not in compliant with what the state is recommending, what are the consequences? And he said, nothing. You don't get fined. You do not get written up. You're just out of compliance. There is no consequence to the county to be out of compliance. Mm-hmm. And it still does fall on the commission to approve where your appraiser says the state needs to be, or this county, or not. And there's no consequence to the county financially at all. And Lisa's job is not in any sort of, if I'm understanding this correctly, Jacqueline, please correct me, but if the state only really comes and has a discussion with the county when we hit that 75% noncompliance.
So I don't have these statutes memorized, and what you're even referring to today, it sounds like you're talking about a conversation that you heard last year with the state person, right? So
One
you're
of
not
the things that I'm
specifically
referring to-
referencing,
One of them, yes. You can also go on Johnson County's website, all the statutes, all of the information, what an appraiser is. If you just go to a different county, they have a lot of information that you could look through. You can watch YouTube videos on their website to see how appraiser enacts their job throughout the state of Kansas. So to me, I went there as well recently just because it was very informative.
so this
But
is,
I'm not trying to pull
I mean, it's
anything.
governed by Chapter 79 in the Kansas statutes. And so there's 79-503A, there's 79-1409, 79-501. And there's a series of statutes that govern this, as well as, our appraiser, yes, you wouldn't fire her, whatever, but her certification with the state, part of the reason why she has a job isn't just because the county employs her, it's because the state recognizes her as a certified state appraiser of property values, because she has agreed to adhere to their directives using the formula that all of the counties are using. So that is the piece that I'm, talking about. But I will get you all a memo about this and get it to you this week so that you have it in advance for Monday.
I would like that. I think I asked for that. So. Do you have anything else you want to
No,
have her prepare? Because I want to be prepared. I feel we're going to have quite a few people in here, and there's going to be a lot of questions on what the commission can do and take action and not do.
My feelings is that what we can control is where we're at on our mill levy. I mean, that's it. We can cut our spending down. Whether they appraised your house at 150, 175, or 200,000, ultimately it comes back to us three right here. Because where we decide how much money we need to operate the county. But everybody's looking at their taxes going up, but when we're only taking, like in my district, we take less than half of the tax that I pay. Less than half goes to what you and I have control over. The tax that I pay in District 3, less than half comes back to the county.
The other half, the other majority is being dispersed between school districts, cemeteries, libraries,
Townships.
townships, yeah, and cities.
You break that out, you look at your sheets and you can break it out to where we control less than half of the money that's generated from taxes. So it falls back to your school boards, your library boards, that they have a big say in it too. What your taxes are. Okay. Anybody have anything else on that? The new business rural county road plan.
Do you want to start with wait till Jason's here? I mean, so this is my idea. This is where,
I think it'd be best to have all.
yeah, I was gonna say, I can talk about it if you want me to, but Jason's not here,
I
so.
think that's something that we should, and then the COLA for consideration, I seen you figured that out. The question I have too is what, as far as our benefit package split out per employee, I know that's just based off employee, what % did that go up? Can you tell me that?
Yes.
I had some questions on what you sent on COLA as well, because it was, for example, AMR was in there.
Yeah,
So
AMR is
why
on that too, and I don't know why they would be on that COLA.
that wouldn't increase for us?
Sure. I asked Scott Lloyd and his team to help me generate this document to say everyone that has personnel wages coming out of their budget, whatever that budget line is, increase it by 1%, 2%, or 3%, just showing us how that would affect our mill levy.
But like AMR, that has no effect on us.
There were a few on there. I don't know why
I don't have
SharePoint
it.
isn't working right now, but just the total numbers, that's not correct.
Well, then that's good. I mean, at least it's going to be at the very most what you're seeing on the spreadsheet.
Correct. Yeah. Hold on, let me pull it up. I finally got in here. Okay, so county commissioners, clerk, treasurer, attorney, register of deeds, sheriff, custodians, emergency management. Okay, contingency with that. I mean, we can take out line 11, a line 12, 14.
Sure. So there was contingency payroll built into that contingency. And we did talk about budgeting for next year to not put that there.
Okay, so that can come out.
Courthouse.
4-H building.
Yeah, the 4-H building needs to come out, right? And the airport, I think. And then I didn't know the employee benefit. Was that a total over there? Or was that COLA increase on Social Security, retirement?
So that's how much our contribution is going to go up, because the
Okay.
county as an employer will match the employee contribution.
That makes sense. So there's just a few lines that we can take out.
So
of it.
what did we raise our employee contribution, I guess, is my, on the benefits from last year to this year?
Oh, yep. I was looking for the budget page that I presented to you for the second budget meeting we had.
I don't think it's on here.
It's the employee benefits right there. 1.6.
But that was, current 2026 salary. So is that current 2025?
You're looking at the spreadsheet?
Yeah.
On the employee benefit, is that what we're gonna pay?
Correct. That's what was proposed in the 2026 budget. So that's going to include the economic development salary increase that you asked to not be included.
The employee benefits would,
I believe there was an 8% increase in benefit contribution, our budget from prior year to the new year.
okay.
I believe it was an 8%. I'm still looking for that document.
So it costs us 8% more on the benefit package.
Because of the cost of the healthcare vendor that we chose.
Can you tell me a dollar figure on that? I mean, what per employee roughly?
Yeah, probably. Let me look this.
So basically, if we are going to give a 3% COLA increase, we need to budget or find 303,000 somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, it's something else I thought about too, and this was my, after looking into this, we used ARPA money a few years ago, gave everybody $1 raise.
That's correct.
That was, once we did that, then that's made us every year, we've got to come up with that again. That was free money that year. I mean, the state gave it, or the federal government gave that 300,000, but then next year that made us come up with that much more.
Yeah, Scott Lloyd talked about that, and he recommended in the future we do not do that.
Well,
That was not-
what we should have done at the time was a lump sum. If we chose to use the ARPA money, we should have just lump summed it to them for that year.
Are you asking for another COVID?
No, I don't want any more of that. No.
I think I have enough information to make a decision on COLA. Do you have enough information
I'd
provided?
like to see what,
I mean, just taking out what we just talked about.
So if
taking
I
out slide.
took the 2.8 million that we pay for Blue Cross Blue Shield divided by 180 full-time employees, that would be $15,000.
or your, what did it go up from last year to this year then? I mean, what we have to pay? And this is just on Blue Cross and Blue Shield.
That's correct.
What was the percent of increase, dollar and cents wise, per employee?
Yep, I have that in a spreadsheet that was given to me from Jen Elliott, our benefits coordinator, consultant. Pull it up here. I apologize. I know it's here.
Would you please?
Yeah, maybe. Hold on. Really took your laptop away.
Burn it up. So this is 1%, 2%, 3%.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's what 1 mil is 388,000.
Yeah, I saw that.
So cost 0.26, 0.5, 0.78 of a mil to increase them.
There were a couple of things in SharePoint. Do you care if we go over that while you're looking into that?
Oh, that's fine. I actually just found it.
Oh, okay.
Guys.
No, you're
So
good.
the prior year, we budgeted 2,350,000 for healthcare. This future year, we're needing to budget 2,800,000. That is an increase of about 19%.
So 450,000. It's more that it's costing us, so. What was a 3% COLA, I guess? That's what. It was gonna cost 300 and some thousand, right? So at 150 employees, we're spending $3,000 more a year on healthcare
That's correct, per employee.
per employee. I mean, that's roughly, yeah.
And that's largely the cost of specialty name brand medications. And the fact that we don't get the full rebate from Blue Cross Blue Shield on those
On special,
medications.
yeah.
Mhm.
Thoughts?
But I'll tell you that where we asked and people did not like the change. I mean, that's $1.50 an hour raise for everybody right there. That, my vote is right this year not to give a COLA. That's the way I feel. I mean, I feel we gave them $1.50 an hour raise with it. And what I heard was that people wanted the health care and we stayed with the health care that they wanted. So, and I've seen multiple posts in different counties that they don't pay as much as we do as far as on health care.
That's correct. We have a very rich benefit package when you consider everything else on top of Blue Cross Blue Shield health insurance.
And even our retirement, we upped the retirement on the KP&F last year too. And that's a bigger expense for us. I mean, not that we did it and voted to help, but I feel we increased our benefit package tremendously last year from last year. I'm not in favor of giving a COLA this year myself. What's your thoughts?
I would just like to make a more educated statement regarding that on Monday when we're going over the budget stuff. But I see your perspective on all that. And the insurance it's a concern. It's a lot of money.
Okay. We've still got time.
A week.
You got 7 days.
One more Monday. Jesse didn't talk about this, but do you want to move the replacement of these doors, that bid, to Monday?
Sure.
I'm just looking through SharePoint. Well, he had provided, and we had talked about it prior to the meeting, so maybe that's why he didn't discuss it, but the doors here, those need to be replaced. And so in SharePoint, which I know you don't have your computer, so
I've seen that too.
there was a bid. Yeah, they posted it in SharePoint. So just let's add that to the agenda and make a decision on that on Monday. Stars, I saw in SharePoint, there was something provided to us from SharePoint or from Stars. And I actually sent him a few questions this morning, and I'll just tell you what they were. So I'd like to make a decision on that. Can we move it to the agenda on Monday? Because I would like an MOU sent to Danielle is what I asked him. Okay. The current one. He did say he has one, but I'd just like to see it. I want to see it.
So you're wanting to make sure that we are going to give the 300 and some thousand this year?
Well, I'm not saying we are. We have to vote on that. But
vote.
My question to him, or statement, I guess, please provide the MOU to Danielle so we can have that in our SharePoint next week. Once the building is paid off, who owns the building? Is it Stars, ? Or is it USD 344? The case of whether the nonprofit dismantles the program, the building would be transferred to another nonprofit or back to the county? ? And then also submit paperwork detailing where he would like to allocate the $332,000. It was still never clear on
Where it went.
where is it going. Is it going to pay off the building? I knew that he had wrote a few
He states
statements,
in there what they owe on the building, 244,000.
but I would just like to
Make sure
know,
that it pays.
is that what we're doing? This is kind of the,
Right.
so those were just some questions I had. If you had other ones, you can reach out to him. But once I have those, I feel I'm ready to make a decision on that, hopefully Monday.
So the STARS director has emailed and officially requested the $332,000 that was budgeted in a prior year to give him this year. He's made that request. He's answered a few of your questions in an email. What I hear you saying is you have more questions.
Well, I would like to see the MOU. I mean, he said he has it. I'd like to see it.
Okay.
And I asked for a breakdown of where the
how that
money
money's
is
being
going to be spent.
Okay.
To
And
make sure that the building gets paid for.
Correct.
Is that where the money is going for the building to be paid off?
I'm hearing that, but I would like to see that as the
That
commission.
should be in our memorandum of understanding of where the money's going to us even.
Yes, we can release the funds, but we can also give him direction on what to do with the funds, correct? Or no?
I don't believe that's correct. I think once you say he can have this money, he can spend it according to their, it looks like Jacqueline's agreeing.
Yeah, unless it's written in the memorandum of understanding how he has to spend the money, you cannot now direct the money. So for example, if you were to budget for 2026 money to go to them, in so doing, you could specify how that money could be spent. But once it's already been budgeted, you cannot after the fact direct how the money is going to be spent. Now, that doesn't speak to whether the memorandum of understanding or whenever the money was allocated to them before, if it was specified then they have to spend it according to however it was specified, if at all.
I have a feeling it was never specified.
So even
However-
though before we budget it to him, actually give it to him, we can't ask where it's going, even though it's been budgeted.
You can certainly ask him where it's going, what it's being used for, that sort of a thing. But my understanding would be that you don't have the authority to dictate how that money is going to be spent after it has already been allocated to him in a previous budget season.
However, because it's in the general fund, you do have the authority to say, we're not giving it to you.
We have the, okay.
That would be governed. We have to make sure that there's not an MOU that if you guys, even though it's in the general fund, if you guys otherwise sort of obliged yourselves to paying
Can you
certain
look that up
funds.
to make sure
I
what
was-
our agreement is with them, what it says.
Sure.
I was under the impression that the STARS program, you guys just agreed to take a mill levy, right? One
It isn't
mill
quite a mill. No,
Not a mill?
330-some thousand, but they agreed.
or close to it.
Yeah. It was at the time. Yeah.
And that wasn't a vote to the people. It was just a
There was
commission.
3 commissioners on a 2-to-1 vote.
We did not.
Anything else?
The last item on the agenda is the nudity resolution.
A resolution?
I'm not in favor of the nudity resolution, and I've reached out to Blue Mound, and their city council hasn't even been notified of the situation as far as presenting to their city council about the issue that's going on.
Also,
So I
that's
would-
city though. Did you want to review the resolution again? For the county?
Yeah, this is county, but
Okay, well, if it's happening in the city,
can't be helped to have it.
they do not have a resolution in their city, so we were trying to enforce a law that would govern. Why are you shaking your head?
We're not trying to enforce any laws against any non-county jurisdiction. So in light of incidents that transpired, the sheriff's office has asked for the county to pass a nudity resolution. And so that is the sheriff's office proposal for a county resolution pertaining.
But that would give them authority to arrest someone in a particular city that didn't have a resolution for their city on nudity.
So the county resolutions pertain to the county's territory.
Do we have authority in a city that has no law enforcement?
If Blue Mound is one of the territories within the Linn County Sheriff's jurisdiction, then yes. If not, then no.
They don't have a police force, so yes. But they can still make a city ordinance.
No.
There are state statutes that govern,
There are not state statutes that govern public nudity that make it criminal to be publicly nude in the state of Kansas unless it is for sexual gratification reasons. That is the reason why the sheriff has asked for this resolution by the county.
well, that's the state statute I was referring to, and that is what we would go by if there was something indecent.
Right, so it limits the sheriff's ability to respond in situations where there are mental health issues, there are other reasons why a person would be presenting themselves nude, disorderly, causing disruptions, that sort of a thing. And so that is why the sheriff's office has asked for this nudity resolution.
Sounds like we better table it till next week. Anything else? I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Oops, sorry.